So this video is to help you decide if you should be a cooked vegan or if you should pursue a raw vegan food diet. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to define what a raw vegan food diet is, and also we're going to define what a vegan diet is. Now this video is long overdue because I use the word vegan, but vegan is not just a way of eating. Vegan is a lifestyle. So I'm not going to go deeply into that, but I will say if you are considering pursuing the vegan lifestyle, whether that's for cruelty-free reasons or you believe in sustainability of the planet is best with a vegan activity, a vegan philosophy, then we're just going to skip straight to the food portion of that, which is, I'm assuming, health as well. So this is a health video. It's not a pro or anti-vegan video. It's just about health and preference in your foods. So I will start with the pros of a cooked vegan diet. A cooked vegan diet, depending on where you're coming from, the diet that you're coming from, it can really be a great transitional diet. You can still have your potatoes, you can still have your rice, most of your seasonings, as long as you check, of course, the ingredients to make sure that there are no like dairy byproducts or anything like that, or it's not made with meat byproducts, any of your syrups or sweeteners or sauces. You can pretty much still kind of hold on to a lot of the things that you were probably eating. Also, many people feel that the vegan diet, again, depends on where you're coming from, it satiates. Some people like that heavy feeling that they get from eating a lot of cooked carbs and heavy fat-laden cooked things, or it gives them a certain type of satisfaction that way. So a lot of people feel satiated on a cooked vegan diet. And convenience, I would say, is the third thing for a reason why you may go to a cooked vegan diet. You can pretty much go to any fast food place and get a vegan option these days. You have the Beyond Meats and everything like that. I believe even KFC has an option of Beyond Chicken. So that would be great. And also health. I know I just said KFC and health in the same breath, but again, it depends on where you're coming from. If you're just eating like whole rotisseries and fried chicken legs every day, if you migrate over to maybe a soy-based product or wheat-based fried products, you may feel different. You know, that's real for some of us. We feel different. Maybe we feel lighter in the gut. Maybe that will show, you know, medically, that you've actually switched from animal fat or animal protein to more carb protein. So if that's your reality and that's good enough for you, then that's healing and it's good enough for you. Now, obviously this channel is called Raw Vegan Food Diet, so I'm going to now tell you the pros of going on a raw vegan food diet. So I'll just start with healing, since that's the last thing I was talking about with the cooked vegan diet. So healing, this is going to sound like a lie, but healing when you transition to a raw vegan food diet can be instant. Now, of course, it depends on what it is. If it's like tumors, it may take a little while, or it may take you to go onto a cold pressed juice fast for a few days. Again, it depends on where you're coming from, because some former states are like so toxic to your system, and I'm not judging what that is. You'll know on your own. Every individual walk is different. Some things are so toxic that even giving something a day off, and I even did a 24-hour water fast, and I saw like major improvements. So it's not just me that says this. There is a lot of people that say this, that they can't believe that just eating raw one day or 2 days or 3 days or a 30-day challenge, that it actually healed so many things that they had going on, whether it was allergies, migraines, congestion, poor digestion. It's just endless, the amount of things that it can heal quickly, or alleviate, or make you feel less inflamed, meaning pain-free. So in the form of that type of healing. So that's a big one. Also, hydration. A lot of people that eat cooked foods, whether it's vegan or non-vegan, often feel depleted because those type of foods suck the water out of your system and you feel dry. Whether you have a dry nose, you have a dry mouth, or you have cracked lips, or things like that, and no saliva. Other areas are not so, moist. Ladies, maybe, those areas, because a lot of that is being like sucked up, basically, or at least that's the feeling. And I speak from experience. When you eat these denatured foods that are cooked, it just sucks. Literally, it sucks the water out, the moisture. So as an opposite of that, raw vegan foods, for the most part, most fruits and vegetables are like maybe over 70% water. So, and especially like watermelon is like probably over 90% water. So I find that the body holds water very well with the fruits. And it's not so much that I'm saying to drink water while you're eating cooked vegan foods. You may need to actually do that, drink a lot more water. But that's for that segment. But for a raw vegan food diet, you may feel like you don't even need water, or you don't even feel like you need to drink any water because you're getting so much water from the fruits. So hydration. So healing is first, hydration is next, and actually feeling light, because some people complain about not feeling full on a raw vegan diet, but depending on what you're working on mentally in a different space, it can really, really help to just eat light. Depending on where you are, it could be a pro or a con, right? But sometimes when you eat raw, you don't want to sleep. So you get a lot of energy, so I guess that would be number 3, or 4. So eating light to feel light, but also, not to have any digestive problems or be bogged down, like say if you're writing a book or something, or you're writing an article, or anything that needs a lot of focus, attention. Being light, eating light will really help you not go back and forth to the bathroom or whatever the case is, or steal from your brain focus, by highlighting another part of your body that you have to take care of. So that can be done on a raw vegan food diet. And the energy as well. And that could have even been first because that's the most obvious part. Lots of people know you're eating a lot of simple sugars if you're eating from the fruit family. And a lot of people also know that the glucose from the vegetables can give you an uplift and give you a spark energy. I think most people know that carbs can give you a good feeling of an energy burst. So if you're eating carbs all day, it's just like, a lot of times it feels like you're floating on a cloud, basically. And for females, during that time of the month, it's really good. But it doesn't cover everything. I will talk about the hormones for that another time. But for the most part, if you regularly eat carbs, fresh fruits and vegetables, and without too many heavy nuts and seeds, including avocados, which I guess is fruit, but high fat fruits. If you avoid that, you should have pretty much the greatest type of energy. Again, coupled with not really wanting to sleep that much. But you can sleep, and you will sleep. There are other factors involved, stress that I won't talk about with diet, but sometimes you will feel like you have to actually make a point to sleep when you're raw vegan, especially if you have a lower fat diet, because your mind will be lit up like a Christmas tree, especially if you're juice fasting, which is another section of raw veganism. But I mean, wow. So you won't really need those pills or whatever you take, or caffeine or coffee or whatever type of uppers you take to try to stay energized, because the diet will do that for you. So I would say now the cons. The cons of eating cooked vegan is that you probably will not heal what you want to heal. If it's deep, if it's something like a chronic illness, you probably won't heal that just on the food alone. Of course, there's meditation, which I strongly believe in. Even Trump's over diet, that's how I feel. But it takes deep faith and reprogramming old beliefs about food sometimes for you to even get there. But if you have like a deep belief that you're eating like a bucket of Beyond Meat fried chicken, and and you see the fried in your head, and you're like, fried is really bad for me. I mean, it's going to be a challenge perhaps for you to actually believe, this is like any other food. I can just bypass this. I can eat whatever I want. Let me just work on my stress and, just believing that everything is working out. And that can happen for you. But sometimes if we're honest with ourselves, we really don't believe that fried food is good for us for whatever reason. It's not in our vision of health. It's not in our walk. We can't conceive it. So it's just better. It's harder for us to conceive, I should say. So it's just better to let go of that thing. Especially it looks just like the old fried chicken. So again, unless you could get it to your mind, like eating Beyond Meat fried chicken, for instance, is the same as eating watermelon, let's not con ourselves. Just swipe it right into the trash bin. That's just not gonna work. So that's one of the cons, is the deep healing on a physical level. And I would say the next thing is lack of being fulfilled through these diets. Some people maybe feel full, but they don't feel nourished, and they don't understand why, because they have such large amounts, and they have the foods from what it looks like from their childhood. Oh, I just had a whole bunch of mashed potatoes. Yeah, it had a little bit of plant-based milk instead of the heavy dairy cream that I used to have, but that should be good, And what happens is, when you go from a meat, again, depends on your history, when you come from a meat and dairy diet, and certain vitamins and nutrients that they program us to believe that is in that, that is also the belief. It gets in our minds. And when we swap out, it's a mind-body journey. So we can really convince ourselves that we are undernourished. We're not having enough of whatever it is. And that plays out in the body as like deficiencies, basically. That is a major worry for a lot of vegans, cooked vegans, and some raw vegans. But I'll just move over to raw vegans now and say what the cons with that. And I don't think most raw vegans feel that way though, undernourished. Because if anything, the education that we believe that teaches us that in a raw state, the food is undernatured, is either from the ground or from a seed, and not very heavily processed. And that plays right into our programs, that we believe that this is fresh food, this is good food, this is food from the earth, it's nurtured by the sun, and we feel great about it. And that can play into a very, very good health experience all around for us, a very, very positive experience. So as you can see, I don't just look at the food or the diet for just the food itself. I know that it's deeply rooted in what we believe the food is doing for us. And I would just say another con in being raw vegan is that you'll feel alone sometimes, because you'll see a popular diet and you'll feel like, everybody seems to be having fun. Everybody's going to the local brewery or, restaurant, and everybody's just having fun and picking up long, Italian breads and, getting spaghetti and meatballs or whatever the case is. It's a nostalgia factor. You feel left out. You feel a little cooler, not physically, no pun intended. That may be another con with some people, but you feel less warm. You can't really go to the holidays and not get joked on, or not get, feel like you're some weird new age hippie in the corner, munching on a carrot. But a lot of that, again, is mental. Some of it is not even in your family. It's just you're setting yourself up, to feel special in a negative way. I would say another con is some people do actually feel colder when they go on a raw vegan diet, and that's great for people that's living in the tropics or a warm environment like I am. But most of the time I'm in a warm environment. But for the people that say like in Canada or Minnesota, any cold place, predominantly, that can be a downside. They might want the healing, they might want the light feeling, they might want all of those things, but they cold. You feel me? So it's like, what do you do with that? And there are some things to do with that, but just listen to cons for now, for some people, or why they might just, be frustrated with that. But as you can already tell, for the most part, I love being raw vegan. This is just a comparison so you guys can hear it out loud and focus on your why, and see if you got anything from what I'm saying, to see if your why is even strong enough to beat the cons, and if the pros are strong enough for you to even adapt this type of lifestyle, either lifestyle. But yeah, I'm glad I actually had this talk, because I always have to remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's not really hard, because I identify as raw vegan. That's actually the key to help me stay raw vegan. But sometimes in those moments where you see other people, doing things, again, any of those cons, where you see something happening or you feel a little chilly or whatever the case is, and you go, I want to be like I was in the past. But it's like a split second, because you really got to get that past life. If it's not all you want it to be, it's really not hard to shut the door on it. So at this point, it's like little gnats sometimes trying to remind you how good it was back in the days, and you might have been in pain. So let's not fool ourselves, So hopefully you see some pros in this raw vegan journey, and you choose to be raw vegan, and you just try it out and see how it goes. And let us all know in the comments, how it went and what your feelings are. Do you think you need to incorporate cooked foods? Do you feel something is lacking in a raw vegan diet? Or are you just afraid to face the fear, and you already know what the path is for you? Speak about it. But if that is the case, I encourage you to just go deep within and get the vision. What exactly do you want to be? How do you want to live, and how do you want to feel, more importantly? And then put your faith right up against any fears you may have. And you know what I'm going to say. Go with the faith side. It's up to you. It's not up to anybody else. It's your life. So, you know, get that vision. Forge ahead.